Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is April and today I am deep cleaning our refrigerator as well as doing some restocking in the kitchen. So come along with me as I get this done. I did previously share in an Instagram reel the method that I use to clean our fridge, which is just a 3-section or a 3-phase method. So that way my refrigerated items are not left on the counter for too long. So I essentially clean off the shelves first, and then I go into these crisper drawers, and then I start on the door. However, I needed to do some grocery shopping anyway, so I didn't have too much that I needed to worry about. And yes, those are candles in our freezer, but I'll show you at the end of the video how I get the wax out so I can repurpose the candle jars. So make sure you watch until the very end. So I started by taking everything off of the shelves and out of the drawers, and then I started to take out each section. As you can see, it was a mess. There was food everywhere. There was stuck on food, spills, stains, the whole nine. So I took out each section. I rinsed it with some water and then sprayed on some Dawn power wash. And then I let it sit for just a few minutes, and then I set up a little drying rack station using a file holder, I believe it is. Could be a magazine holder, not sure. But I just kind of had it laying around, and so I thought it would work well for this situation. I'll show you a better view of the little drying rack situation that I set up here shortly. Deep cleaning my fridge is one of those things that are truly just tedious but also necessary. So let me know, how often do you deep clean your fridge? I feel like mine always looks much cleaner than it actually is. And then once I get down into the crevices, you can see just how dirty it actually is. wiped down the inside off camera, and I also cleaned out the freezer off camera as well. And then I am starting to put everything back. One thing that never fails is I always forget that certain parts of the drawers have the glass inserts that come out. And 9 times out of 10, I'm so close to breaking them, which you'll see in just a second. And then another tedious part about all of this is when I'm actually putting the drawers back, which you'll see very shortly. Like I mentioned before, I don't know who designed this fridge or why they designed this fridge the way that they did, but you'll see here when I am starting to put the drawers back, it's a hot mess, y'all. It's a hot mess. But as I'm sitting here editing these clips, I am just cracking up because I was so frustrated. But once I took a step back, took a deep breath, and then realized what I was doing wrong, it went pretty smooth after that. And in case you're wondering, no, this is not the first time that I'm deep cleaning our fridge, but we have another fridge in our patio that's similar to this one. It's not a side by side, it's sort of the traditional refrigerator, but the drawers go in almost the same exact way, except it's all one piece. And so you don't have to worry about all these different pieces going in at different points in the fridge. But essentially, with this particular fridge, you have to start from the bottom up with the drawers in particular. And that's the part that I forgot. And I always seem to forget when I'm putting the fridge back together. So yeah, that was my dilemma on this day. So, needless to say, I was highly frustrated, but I was happy to finally get everything in its rightful place, and then move on to the drawer or to the door of the refrigerator. So right here, I'm taking everything out of the door. I'm checking for anything that is expired or almost empty and tossing it out, except this barbecue sauce because my husband would have a fit. He loves Flanagan's barbecue sauce. I asked hubby to replace the pitcher that's on the top shelf that had some tea in it that he made because it was actually leaking. So I had to clean that shelf off all over again. This is what the fridge is looking like now that it's all nice and clean. So a few days later, I went grocery shopping, and then I am starting to prep some vegetables for meals throughout the week. And I am also going to be restocking a few items in the kitchen. First, I needed to fix the lid to my salt jar. As you can see, it was broken. So I just used some Elmer's washable glue to put it back together. So like I said before, I am prepping some vegetables for meals throughout the week. Now, I don't recommend that you do this if you don't cook as often as I do. I typically cook I would say 4 to 5 days a week. Usually on the weekends is when we would order out or go out. And so if you're going to be keeping your produce for more than, I would say, a few days, don't cut it, leave it whole, keep it nice and dry, and it'll keep for much longer in the fridge. And you can also use some produce keepers, which is what I'm doing here. I picked this one up from Marshall's, I believe, and then I'll also be sharing with you all some other ones that I picked up on Amazon. And as always, I'll have links to what I can find down in the description. Once I'm done prepping some vegetables, then I am going to be moving on to restocking some of our favorite snacks and other items throughout the kitchen. Once I finish restocking what I needed to, I will be sharing with you all how I get the wax out of those candles that were in the freezer that you saw at the beginning of the video. So keep on watching, that's coming up soon. So, hubby is convinced that the best way to store lemons is to store them in water. I'm not knocking it, I'm just saying it's not how we normally store our lemons, but we're giving it a try. So, let me know down in the comments, how do you store your lemons or your limes? I did end up removing this lid the next day because I noticed that there was a little bit of sweat or something on the inside of the container. So I think it needed a little bit more air to breathe. So that's why I decided to remove it. The lid to the salt jar is now dry, so I went ahead and refilled it, and then I'm moving on to the candles. So I'm cutting out a small portion of the wax, and then I'm using the knife to pry out the rest of the wax that's still stuck to the bottom of the candles. The second one was a little bit trickier because the wax wasn't as hard as the first one. Not exactly sure why that was. I believe it's because of the way the candle is made. It's one of the Eco Wicks candles, which I really love. I'm not knocking them in any way, shape, or form. It was just a little bit harder to scoop out with a knife, so I used a spoon instead. But as you can see, it came out pretty easily after that. And then I just threw them into the dishwasher. Alright y'all, that is it for this video. Thank you for hanging out with me while I deep cleaned my fridge and restocked some items in the kitchen. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.